Hi viewers, welcome to our studio again. Last time I promised I'll talk about cryptocurrency. It's been quite a while that we are doing the show again in studios. So we'll talk about cryptocurrency today, and the world is raged with a lot of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethercoin, and other altcoins. That's what we call any other coin, any other cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin is called altcoin. So a lot of cryptocurrencies have been floating around, and of recently we have El Salvador that has said that they would recognize cryptocurrency called Bitcoin as official currency. So before we go into what this, what's the difference between normal currency, what is this cryptocurrency, why is it useful, I just want to give you a brief overview that total market cap of the cryptocurrency right now is around $1.2 trillion. The lion's share of that cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, we have $877 billion is the market cap for the Bitcoin. So what is this cryptocurrency? There are two things in this. One is crypto and another one is currency. These have got two different meanings, right? So why, before going into deep, let us find out what is meant by currency and what is meant by cryptography, all right? So why do we need currency? Why do every country comes up with their own currency, notes and all those things? Is because previously, when the currencies were not introduced, that is like way back around some centuries ago, 1,000 years ago, there was no currency, there was no coins. So what people used to do is people used to do something called barter system. You give me eggs, I'll give you bread. I'll give you milk, you give me something else. So like that, over a period of time, each one tried to share what they had and against what they produce. I produce something, I need something, so I'll give you what I have, you give me what I need. So such kind of exchanges would happen and the economy would go around. So even in villages right now, in remote villages, what happens is few of the farmers, they can't hire labor. So what they do is they work with other farmers and come up with this thing that okay, you pay me, I pay you in service to each other. So like that, the barter system existed for like thousands of years, and then people started questioning what is the value of an egg, what is the value of a milk, what is the value of the service I provide you. So when it comes to that valuation, then the barter system collapses. See, for you, your egg, my egg is more important to me than your milk. You would say my milk is more important, and I would say my egg is more important. I mean, the eggs that I produce through the chicken, right? So like that, when such kind of anomalies exist, then comes a universal way of valuing whatever. So whether it's education, whether it's service, whether it's housework, whether it's gardening or whatever, you need a universal way of valuing the service or the good that someone produces. That valuation has come about by using coins. The coins slowly transform themselves into currencies. Currencies is a note. So each currency is a remark or a benchmark of what the country is. For example, dollar, right? A dollar represents America. American dollars are there, Australian dollars are there, Singaporean dollars are there. So each of these dollars represents their own country. In the same way, India rupee is there, so rupee represents the India. So the entire economic power, slowly the currency transformed itself into this economic power and the soft power of the country. So sum of all the goods produced and all the services produced is measured as a GDP, and that GDP is measured on a dollar term across the world, right? So for example, India is $2.4 trillion, China is $5.8 trillion, America is, China is $15 trillion, America is right now at 19 trillion on the GDP, but much more in if you consider the private assets that they have. So the currency is what makes a value of anything something, right? So I have currency of knowledge that I can give to some company, and that company uses that knowledge and gives me back my salary. So I am bartering my currency. My currency is knowledge, and the employee currency is the salary they give to me. So like that, the currency has been established over a period of thousands of years. Now what happened with this currency? When the central banks start around 2008, the central banks started printing money all across the world. So what happened? The distribution or the printing of currencies kept on increasing, whereas the inflation did not rise. At the same time, the valuation of the currency did not fall. So when a lot of printing is happening, when a lot of all the banks together are printing a lot of money, then the circulation of that money should actually create inflation, but that inflation is not happening because it is artificially suppressed. So when the goods and services that are being produced are not in proportion to the currency that is float, there is something called imbalance happening. So the currency is being printed, whereas the inflation is at the same, going down or being stable. So what happened is the float of currency is too much. So then the concept of a fixed currency, that means the currency that is not going to change over a period of time. That means nobody can print more. It comes with a paid up capacity. Say 1 billion is the total number of currencies that particular issue has. I'll come to what that means. Then it will be only that 1 billion. Nobody can print more than that 1 billion. So that 1 billion is being distributed across. So that is the concept of a fixed float currency. That means there won't be more printing of that currencies. There will be only number of fixed number of floating currency that happens. That means there is no central authority that is going to create more of that same currency. Therefore, the evolution of a constant currency came into picture. Now this constant currency, if it is printed, right, it can be printed a lot. So without being printed, it is like a software currency, and this software currency is in terms of either tokens or either coins. So now let's shift to the crypto part of that currency. What is a crypto? Crypto means cryptography. Cryptography has got one thing called public key and private key encryption techniques. So what is this public private key pair? You can even do that in your own system. If you have Java, you can even create your own public and private key, and I'll give you in slides. If you can look into the slides and you can work out your own public private key. So what does this public private key do? A public key is something that you give to other people, right? Everybody else, you give this public key. The private key, you have it with you. So whatever message you want to encrypt, whatever message you want to encrypt and send to people, you want, say I want to send to Sham, Ram, John some message. What am I going to do? Only those people have to see it. So what they do, I give them the public key. The public key can decrypt a message. Decrypt and encrypt are two different things. Encrypt means the words are being jumbled and sent across. So if I say, suppose I want to send work, instead of saying WORK, I will say ROKW. I am just giving you a simple technique. So instead of saying work, I will say crow, KROW, and send it. The guy who is looking at the crow will understand that, oh, crow actually means work. So that kind of understanding is called decryption. Changing work to crow is called encryption. So WORK, I change it to KROW, that becomes encryption. So the guy who receives the KROW will change it to WORK, that becomes decryption. So the private key encrypts the message and sends it across, and if you have the public key, you can decrypt that thing into its original meaning. So you have the private key and the public key. Now in cryptocurrency, we will be having a hash, a one-way hash function that will say this particular, say one number is there, 100 is there. So that 100 can be represented as A, B, C, D, F, G, some number, some gibberish number. The encrypted number is A, B, C, D, F, G. The decrypted number will become 100. So in cryptography world, you have this private key and public key which do the encryption and decryption techniques. So each individual will have their own wallet. In that wallet can be opened only with my private key. So if I have a wallet, I can open that with my private key, and anybody can put into that wallet using the public key, right? So there is a purse, wallet means purse, right? So anybody can put money into that one, and only I can see what the money is there and change it. So that is the public private key thing on the wallet. Now what is the cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is basically telling you that your money is encrypted and you can decrypt and look at the amount. That is basically the crypto part of it. Now I told you there is a fixed float that is happening on the currency, right? So for example, Bitcoin is there. The $877 billion are not printed. The total amount of Bitcoin is fixed, only the valuation is changed. So at one time, think about it like a gold, right? A gold coin is there. At one point of time, the gold is $100. Now 1 ounce of gold is $1,000, right? So the value of the 1 ounce of gold changed from $100 to $1,000, but gold is same. It has not changed its content. It didn't print itself 1,000 times or 10 times, as case may be. So the same way, the valuation of Bitcoin is going to change over a period of time. Right now it fell from 65,000 to 30,000, and now it's like 38 or 40,000, right? It started from way back around 2000, it was in cents. Now over a period of time, because there is a need to not have floating currency, that is currency that can be printed over a period of time, so that the valuation of the currency will fall. So there then comes a fixed float. Fixed means constant. So say there are like 10,000 coins, right? It won't go beyond this 10,000. The 10,000 coins will be in the market. That is called fixed float, right? So this fixed float of coins have been issued, and what Bitcoin does is, what every other coin exchange does is work off the fixed coins that are there. So in between those things, what happens is there is something called decentralized finance and there is something called blockchain. These two are the financial basis of the Bitcoin. We have looked at crypto, we have looked at currency. Now we look at what is the blockchain and what is the decentralized finance. Say for example, you go to a shop, right? You take your credit card and you swipe it. Say $100 is what you have purchased and you have swiped $100 and you take the goods away. So back end, what is happening? The merchant is going to ask the place this $100 transaction to the bank. The bank is going to say that, okay, this is the $100. Does this guy already have this $100? That is what is going to place to the credit card company. The credit card company is going to check for the credit of this particular person and then says, okay, this guy can buy that watch. So what will happen? There are multiple entities that are working behind the scenes for validating a transaction. The transaction is between the customer and the merchant, but in between this transaction there are multiple entities that are behind this merchant as well as the customer to validate or to say that this transaction is correct. That is called settlement and matching. Matching and settlement. Matching means to say that okay, this particular guy has this money or not. Yes. Settlement means transferring the amount of money from the customer to the merchant. The money is transferred. That is settlement. To find that there is matching there, that customer has that much money, that's called matching. So matching and settlement are the background process that happens in every transaction that is there. So the Bitcoin theory, what is this Bitcoin theory? They came up with blockchain. So what does this blockchain do? The blockchain does this settlement and matching at the same time, right? Instantly the settlement and matching starts happening. So between a merchant and the customer, a transaction happens, then there is a blockchain that is between this merchant and this customer ratifying this thing, saying that hey, this merchant has given some good to this particular customer. So like that there is a chain, one guy calling the other guy, like that there is a chain. This chain of nodes that are ratifying the transactions between the two entities is called a blockchain. In a very simple English, in a very simple way, it is a series of entities that say customer has purchased something from the merchant. So like that, when there is a chain of people saying yes, this transaction has happened, so there are multiple chains or nodes that can ratify these transactions. So there will be lots and lots of transactions that each of this chain will be ratifying. So that is called blockchain. So when this blockchain has happened, then the settlement and matching happens instantly, right? So the money is transferred from here to here and the good is transferred from here to here, and there is no extra process or extra background steps that need to happen. Blockchain is one that can help you do this, because if some other person, some other entity says no, this guy doesn't have this much money or this guy doesn't have this service, if some other guy comes in and says that they don't have that transactional validity, then you have a list of people who say no, they already have it. So there won't be a chance for any other person to nullify the transaction between these two. Therefore, blockchain happens on a large number of people validating one particular transaction. Large number of people, entities, we call them as nodes. Nodes are basically computers. So each of the chain has got a lot of computers that ratify the transactions. Like that, so each of the block may have some 1,000 chains, this block has 1,000 chains, this block has 1,000 chains, they ratify lot of transactions like this, and that's where you have this blockchain validity, which is a very secure way of telling that a transaction has happened. So your settlement and matching have happened instantly. That is blockchain. Now what is it decentralized finance? Decentralized finance is basically when a merchant is giving something to the consumer. The merchant is saying to the bank is going through its own network and connecting with the credit card company, connecting with the customer bank account and all those things. So this is centralized finance. In decentralized finance, everybody, there is a blockchain, say this blockchain has validated transaction between these two, and when this blockchain has validated transaction between these two, the other blockchain looks at this thing and it also ratifies it. So there is no central authority that says that has to validate. There are decentralized. For one transaction, this chain can do it. For another transaction, this chain can start the transactions, validate the transaction. So there is no necessity for the merchant to always go to that particular entity. There can be lot of other entities that can keep on vying for the particular transactions, validate the transactions. So therefore it's a decentralized finance. Now with the cryptocurrency, what is a Bitcoin? Bitcoin is like an asset. Think about it like a gold in software. Okay. So now how the people, number of people get the Bitcoins, that's called mining. What is mining? Mining means this chain, the blockchain that first validates this transaction will get some points. So over a period of time, when the chain is able to validate so many transactions, it will get one Bitcoin. That is called mining. So there are so many chains that keep on validating these transactions. The value of mining with respect to coin comes down. What that means? At initial stage, for one Bitcoin, this many transactions would be okay. Over a period of time, so many people started doing transaction, then the one coin is now going to all the 5 chains. So the valuation of the coin has increased. It has not decreased. It has increased because more number of people are required for one coin, right? Like it's like a movie, right? So many people watch a movie, the value of the movie goes up. Same way, so many people want to do the mining of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin value goes up. So Bitcoin has become an asset where it is procured by mining, that is ratifying the transactions between the respective consumer and producer. So I hope I have taken out precious of your brain and time. It is a new concept. The total currency right now on float currency transactions right now happening is like $50 trillion per day, whereas the Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies put together till now, it's not per day, till now is 1.8 trillion. So the currency transactions are at 50 trillion, whereas the total crypto transaction till now has been till 1 trillion. So it's not going to affect the currency immediately, but there are a lot of disadvantages that people see with the cryptocurrency. That will be because the cryptocurrency is now used as a money laundering machine, right? So people who have illegal money, that is money they get through drugs, kidnappings and all those things, they are using cryptocurrency to transfer their money from one location to another location, right? The valuation of the cryptocurrency is going up. Small part of that is because of illegal transactions that are happening. There is a lot of debate on whether the Bitcoin is giving more power to illegal transactions or illegal transactions are giving more power to Bitcoin, but that's another part of the show. We have come to our conclusion. So hopefully you do understand a little bit about cryptography, public private key. So in short, you need to know about public private key, you need to know about blockchain, you need to know about decentralized finance, you need to know about why we need currency. These 4 things and also the number of people who are using that currency. The 5 things that are there, if you are aware of this, then any other new currency that you are talking will be in the same realm or domain. Hopefully you have learned something, I have learned something. We'll meet you next time with another topic in Your World with Prakash Kapila. Thank you.